everybody, and welcome to the stream scene. Hope you guys are doing well today. We've got a really cool episode for you guys. We're going to be talking about video games. I know. Crazy. Video games on Twitch. We're going to be talking about upcoming games.
On this platform.
Explaining what video games are and how to play them. And
how to play them? I didn't sign up for that.
Yeah, I
didn't sign up how to play them.
I'm out here giving advice on gaming.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my goodness.
My bad. But we are going to be talking about upcoming game releases and basically discussing whether they're when they're worth streaming, our predictions for how they're going to do on Twitch, to kind of give you guys an idea of how you should be planning the next few months of game choices. So first and foremost, let me introduce my lovely co-host, the Hunter Wild. What's up, Hunter? How you doing?
I have been better than today. I had an emergency surgery on Thursday night. Oof. I'm on the pain meds today, but coffee goes a long way to keeping me coherent and somewhat capable. Fortunately, I get excited about every single show, so I am equally excited about today's, maybe a little bit more than normal, especially because of our guests. Now, Danotage, you normally have a show that also shows up on this channel, which it blesses my day when I get to experience that. But it's such a nice and added and delicious bonus to have you on this show every time you get to come on. Danotage and Diction, friend of mine for a decent number of years now. I don't even know when we.
Been a while.
It's been a hot minute. Diction and Danotage, if y'all wouldn't mind introducing yourselves, what you do on the platform in general, who you are, where we can find you. And I never really point out who starts.
I hate that you do this. You do this every time.
Diction, you go.
Every time.
Okay, all right. I'm Diction. I'm a variety streamer. I rarely ever play the same game twice unless it's like a multiplayer game. And also I do some not so gaming stuff recently where I watch videos of supposed ghost hauntings and paranormal activity.
Oh boy.
And then make fun of it because it's all fake and it's phony.
What do you mean it's fake?
Fascinating subject matter, but the videos we watch are they're really easy to debunk.
Yeah, that doesn't scare me ever.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a fun stream.
Love that.
And that's the Diction is my channel. It's in the chat. See it.
Diction. It's easy. Man, I've been watching Diction for years, man.
I'm old.
Yeah, I mean, we've all, I think all four of us have been around too long. We're just we're the elderly of Twitch now.
Vintage, please.
Vintage.
There you go.
Mint vintage.
Rustic.
Yeah, rustic. I think in culinary, rustic means kind of not very uniform and sloppily done. So yeah, it's good. I like it.
Yeah.
Still stands.
Boomer streamers, no.
Wow.
Yikes, dude.
Thanks, chat. I'm Danotage. You may or may not know who I am based on this channel. I run a show here every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, where we talk about professionalism within the industry and we just have fun. And as mentioned in the pre-show, that you guys have to be part of the Patreon to listen to. I have a super high quality show that I spend all week preparing every single week. And we know exactly what we're going to do definitely before the 24-hour mark every week. The show is very much about a free flow of thought. It's called Dan's Stream of Thought, coined by Miss Loco herself.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty much what it is. I come up with a topic, which I do think about for a while, and then we just talk. We just talk about it and answer questions and stuff like that. But I also run my own stream twice a day, once at 8 a.m. Pacific and another one at 6 p.m. Pacific, but 6 p.m. has been the main one for a while. And I kind of like Diction, we really play everything. If there's a game that looks interesting, we play it for a while, sometimes don't finish it, and we kind of feel it out. Right now I'm playing Metro Exodus, which is super good. It's super good.
That one's definitely a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So
the giant fish scares me in that game.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know he could go on land, but apparently he can.
So we're gonna start off today's discussion with talking about a few games that have already come out this month that I think are still worth playing. So the first one that we're gonna talk about is a game called Wolcen Lords of Mayhem. This game is an isometric open world action RPG. You're a former army officer of the Human Republic forced to flee the death penalty because of the magic powers you've unwillingly developed. Wander the world to fight inhuman mutated monsters and discover the terrible secret of the extinguishing mankind. Have you guys played this game yet?
Yeah, and it's actually called Swolson Lords of Slayham.
It was a Kickstarter game, right?
Yeah,
it had a totally different title when it was Kickstarted.
Yeah,
and that was a while back, right?
Yeah,
it's been in early access and development for a while, but they didn't show pretty much 90% of the game until the release. So they were like testing out a lot of the mechanics and stuff.
It is fully released now, right?
Yes.
That was its full launch. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I only knew because I kept seeing people complain about the online on Twitter.
Yeah, that was.
And I was like, oh, that game came out finally. Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So it's been getting some negative reviews mostly because of that. Also, there are definitely some bugs in the game. I've encountered a few. I've heard that people are like missing loot sometimes when they log on and losing on rare items. I haven't had that happen to me though.
They're very specific buildings that if you touch and whatever's on you could get deleted. There's it's a very specific bug, and people have figured out what to stay away from.
Gotcha.
From what I've seen and what I've played like the first 3 acts.
Yeah, you played.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And it's made by a very small indie team, so they're working their butts off, and they got the online to work. It just took a little bit, and people got very mad at it, and whatever. It works, and it's fine now.
It was like reminiscent of, to me, Path of Exile. It had this kind of, definitely not as sprawling, but this big sprawling sort of passive skill tree. I think exclusively passive.
So
and the isometric thing, the top down, right? Like you point and attack stuff and click to move places and whatnot.
Yeah, what I loved about it was more complicated than the simplistic Diablo 3, but it was not nearly as complicated as Path of Exile. So it was like right in the middle. It was nice for me.
Yeah.
Good middle grounds.
For me, this was my first time playing a game like this. I've never played Diablo or Path of Exile. And I felt as a beginner, it was very easy to pick up. That's
nice.
And it's really addicting too. Like there's a lot of loot. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward. The skill tree that you talk about is not super complex. Like I've heard that Path of Exile, like you need to spend time looking up your build and making the right selection. This one is pretty forgiving. Yeah. And so for this game, it's pretty forgiving. You can choose like your weapon and then, make a build out of that. If you know like basic RPG elements of like good classes, you can kind of just make what you want and reset it. It's actually pretty easy to reset your stats and give it something new a try too.
Yeah, play around with it, which I thought was very, like, that forgiving element is also very valuable. So I'm maybe like 900 or 1,000 hours into Path of Exile.
Oh my gosh.
And I still completely rely on YouTube videos to tell me how to do things all the time. And you don't seem to run into that same issue with Wolcen. I mean, since it's relatively fresh and, the learning curve can be somewhat steep in certain regards, it can be helpful to get information from outside. But it seemed to be somewhat forgiving. It seemed to be relatively easy to understand certain mechanics and qualities and the overall dynamic of the game without having to, sift through a tome and have a whole collection of videos to just figure out how to do anything basic. Seemed like a good middle ground.
And the story's fun. It's very Warhammer 40K style, but it's and it's not super complicated, but it's still engaging and fun. It's got some cool characters and stuff.
Yeah. So this game is out already. Like I said, it's I played it last week, so it's not really a game that I think people are still interested in watching it and checking it out. It definitely had new people like asking questions about the game, or people just like coming in to give tips and check it out. So I definitely think it's still like worth streaming. And like I said, I think the server issues are mostly resolved at this point. And you don't even have to play online either. So
yeah. You can play offline to not even have to deal with that.
Yeah.
They are separate characters though, so people know. Like there's an offline character, there's an online character for reasons that
stuff offline.
No. I don't know why, but no. Online is online and offline. Oh wait, no, sorry. I take that. Can you? No. You have to create a new character when you play offline. I know because we played when the servers were down.
Separate.
But the reason for that is not because they want like this complication. They literally have that because you can mod offline characters, and that's a huge thing. They're fully moddable.
So then bringing that online would be that gets
yeah.
It has interaction with other characters or whatever. That's problematic.
Yeah.
So we have another game that came out the same day as Wilson called Florence. I don't know if you guys had a chance to check it out yet. It totally flew under my radar. Really?
Yeah. A few friends have been streaming it. I haven't caught it though.
So
it looks like a game that's gonna make me cry.
Yes, I think so.
It's a story of heart-racing highs and heartbreaking lows of a young woman's very first love. Yeah. Drawing inspiration from slice of life graphic novels and webcomics, Florence is intimate, raw, and personal.
Yep. No, thank you.
Originally a mobile game, now brought to PC and Switch. Ooh, I might get that for Travel to PAX East.
And it's from Annapurna, which has produced a lot of really good games.
They do really good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
It's one of those games I'm like, okay, we'll wait till I'm in a very good mood to play this.
Yeah. I feel like games like this that have if it has a really impactful story, these games can become kind of timeless on Twitch. Like, it's the same thing as doing Last of Us now. Like, years later, Life is Strange. Like, you can play these games almost at any time, and there will always be a core audience looking to watch someone's first time playing a game like this. Like, they want to see your reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Doki Doki has been a game that you can play literally anytime, and somebody will be interested.
Yeah.
And this feels like sort of a thing like that, where it's more of an experience rather than something that has to, like a living being. It's more like you can go into this world that's been programmed for you, and great, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems super cute.
I love the aesthetic.
It looks really pretty, yeah.
Yeah, and some of these like interactions, like some of the gameplay.
The brushing of the teeth.
Right. Well, and we just saw like the using of the chopsticks too, right, to eat the food, things like that.
So it's kind of like a comic walkthrough in a way. It looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a live comic book. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and even like scrolling through the frames and whatnot, right? The way it's sort of partitioned out. What are those called? The the breaks in the. Oh, I don't remember the comic
panels.
Terminology.
Panels.
Yeah, but the panels, the breaks between them, and like the ways that you fill in the blank. That's a very unusual thing to see in a video game. It's really nice.
I think Hunter's on a different level than all of us.
Well, I think that's.
I wonder why that might be.
We need to get on his level.
Well, I don't think that's. I might be the only one who needs to be on this side of it.
Wow, this looks super creative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it.
It's so cute. Wow.
I will check it out, but probably when a very specific time of my life.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally understand that. So have you guys played Dreadout before? Because there's a Dreadout 2 that apparently came out 4 days ago.
Well, I've heard of it.
I think it's on my. It says in library. I don't remember playing it though.
Oh, I think it's been on early access for a little bit. I don't know. I've seen this thumbnail before. Definitely.
Yeah, I don't remember playing this at all.
And there's
so I might have gotten a code for it and then just intended on streaming it and then forgot.
Yeah, maybe.
So okay, so is it what's the name of that other horror game that has the photographs that you take and it's all
Fatal Frame?
Yeah, is it similar to that but with a cell phone?
I think maybe
so it's modern.
Equipped with her trusty smartphone.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the phone is a big mechanic.
So it's Fatal Frame updated. It's millennial Fatal Frame.
That's right. That's right.
It looks good.
Snapchat filters on the ghosts on their faces.
The dog ears.
Yeah, dog ears. Do a face swap with them.
That would make me play it.
I already don't like what I'm seeing from this game. It looks too spooky.
Yeah, what do you mean, Loco? You're totally
I hate scary games. So this is classified as a horror action adventure survival game.
Which I guarantee means that there's no way for you to fight back against the enemies.
Probably not. You don't look very like useful here. You don't have anything.
You look fragile.
You barely have clothes.
You look like a victim. Like you're going to die.
Yeah.
I mean, these clothes are barely on right now. Like, I don't know if you guys are watching this
The
game.
buttons are going to pop soon.
Apparently, there's It's got like some humor in it too. It's described as a horror game with touch of silly high school problems, satiric social commentaries, and touchy, memorable moments.
Does touchy, memorable moments, does that mean edgy in like video game developer or publisher terms?
Well, it's hard to say. Something that has to be experienced, perhaps.
Yeah. Like I appreciate, and Katie really loves horror games and stuff like this. I appreciate these games, but they're not my jam.
No. But there's such a community for horror games. Like horror game streaming is a complete
really is.
like community on Twitch, and typically do very well. People love seeing people be scared.
I'll do it if it's the right game.
Yeah.
But
and almost as big as
what I did was Blair Witch, and that was back in August.
How was that?
I liked it. I thought the ending sequence in the cabin was a little longer than it needed to be. If you're a dog lover, there's some sensitive sequences
that was
that are very triggering. But for me personally, I thought thematically and as far as writing goes, those sequences were built in there purposefully and tastefully. And it like you're supposed to form an emotional connection to this dog. So seeing it in any kind of harm is supposed to elicit those feelings. It did what it did. And I'm just a big fan of the Blair Witch Project. I remember my dad taking me to see that when I was 13, and it scared the living shit out of me.
Yeah, I remember
that. That night. It was real.
Yeah, I think I did too.
That was their whole marketing thing. They made it look real for a while.
They made it look legit in advance. Yeah.
Oh, and when we were pretty young at that point. Like, I
actually never had seen that, but I played the Blair Witch a few months ago, and I quit at that part that you're talking about, Nick, because it was like the most visceral reaction I've ever had from a game. Like, it was disturbing. It was made me so uncomfortable. I left and I cried so hard. I was having like a anxiety attack from that. Like, and I don't like scary games already, but like I just feel like the way that they did that with the dog was, I get the idea and it worked, but it was almost too much just for that reaction. Like, it was like a little bit too drawn out for my taste.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, I mean, in general, scary games, I just like, she's walking around with only a phone and a light, and it's dark, and it's in a school with no one around. She's not even wearing shoes.
Yeah, there's no shoes.
She's not even wearing
Go home.
That immediately makes my feet feel cold.
What is this extracurricular activity she's doing? I don't understand.
It's the whole anxiety of, is she gonna step on like a needle or glass or something?
Or a pencil or something?
Like Die Hard.
Yeah.
Oh no.
John McClane.
So looking at the directory on Twitch, there's just like a couple of really big streamers playing. So this game's actually top of the directory right now, because there's just like several large streamers play this game. And then other than that, it's like pretty empty for the most part. But that definitely elevates it.
Is when with that kind of situation, when it comes to game selection, is it the kind of thing where you expect when those large streamers are done for the day, are those people likely to filter into the other streams that are in the directory? With a game like this, I'm not sure. I have I don't know. No way to know.
I think horror games in general, they tend to draw they draw people out of the streamer, and they draw people to want to watch the streamer even further that they already enjoy. I'm sure there's a group that go and look for people playing specific horror genre games, but I really feel like, I mean, we talk about it. Look, you can look at chat when Loco was saying she wasn't going to play a horror game. Like, they're like, no, you need to play because they want to watch Loco play a horror game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say that.
I don't understand people who watch streamers that play horror games that are okay with them, or they don't get scared. It's like, what are you sitting there watching then?
Yeah.
You're just watching the game at that point.
Well, it depends. Like watching Alaskan Savage stream a horror game, he gets no spooks at all, but it's like mockery and comedy the whole time.
Right.
And then it becomes its entire, but then it doesn't really matter what game you're playing. And it's just its own separate vibe. So it has no connection to the game. Like, I don't get scared from horror games at all. There's like no point in watching me specifically play that game. Except for Alien Isolation.
Yeah.
Psychological tension is the only thing.
Because it learns from you.
Right.
Smart.
Right.
Tricks you. I hate it.
Yeah.
I remember it took me several streams to get through that game after I took it like a year off from it because I was like, no, I can't handle this. And there are probably clips floating out there of me just angry, just so angry at the game. And I was playing on like the easiest difficulty. Yeah. And I was mad at my chat. I was mad at the game. I was mad at God. I was mad at the world. I just wanted it to end. And I kept asking chat, how long is this game? Like, oh no, only a couple more hours. And like 40 streams later, like, when is it over?
Yeah.
How is this a 20-hour game? This makes no sense.
This is Alien Isolation.
Yeah. It's brilliant though. I think it's a brilliant game. Brilliant. And everyone should play it.
Yeah.
There's definitely that part of the community that confuses me too. So I think it was the Evil Within we were playing, and like, oh, you're not going to understand any of it until the end of the game. I go, okay, how long is the game? Like, oh, like 15, 16 hours, something like that. I'm like, you want me to wait 15, 16 hours to figure out what the game is about? I can't do that. I can't. It won't keep me in. It won't keep me engaged.
I did watch.
But apparently, a lot of games are like that, and that's kind of how that is.
Yeah, I had no idea. I was just, I didn't. I could see the point of recognition at the end of the game when the streamer's like, "Oh, that's why that happened like 14 hours ago." This is so okay. So, and then walking back through the whole thing, there was a bit that was interesting about that, like when that happens in games. But the endurance run that it is like building up to that can be really trying.
Yeah.
So our next game, Dan, I'm gonna let you explain this one because I have not even heard of this game, Rune Factory 4.
Yeah. So like a lot of Japanese games, a lot of these games don't get talked about too much in the West. Like everybody knows Stardew Valley, but not everybody knows that it is almost literally a direct ripoff of what is it? Story of Seasons?
At harsh words.
Wow.
Well, no, it's like not in a bad way, because like
you gotta say derivative of instead of ripoff.
I think even the dev would kind of agree that it's like, yeah, I took a lot of that stuff from it because, well,
inspired by.
It was already like everyone was like, oh, this is a farming game on the Nintendo back in the day.
Right, but even the story elements, even like the certain mechanics that Stardew Valley has, it's like actually taken from it because
very strong comparison.
Well, he wanted to like make it an Americanized version of it, a Westernized version of it, because in all honesty, it's a fan game because they've taken Harvest Moon and that series and kind of taken it down a path nobody really likes. So he became the savior and was like, no, I'm going to make Stardew Valley and we're going to make something really good. So yeah, I mean, Katie's typing in chat now, you can probably hear. But it's basically you take a lot of the farming elements, a lot of the like at home building your community and stuff elements of Stardew Valley and Harvest Moon, and bringing it into a JRPG world. So giving the characters more life and emotion and attitude and stuff like that. So you take, if you like JRPGs, if you like farming games like Stardew Valley and stuff like that, it is given. It's both of those combined. So that comes out on Tuesday, and I've been super excited about it because I've never played this series, but everything I hear about it is something I'm totally gonna love because I do love Stardew Valley. That it's going to be part of that. Because the reason we'll go back to the reason I use that verbiage is because it's almost purposeful to be that way. It's like, obviously I would totally use words like derivative and representative and stuff like that, but I think it's actually meant to be like the spiritual, not successor, but the spiritual replacement of American versions of the Japanese game. Because
I love the little dust puffs. That's my jam.
Why are we killing sheep? We're murdering sheep.
I couldn't answer that. I don't actually know.
So
it was originally 3DS. Now it's on the Switch. So it's a Switch release.
Oh, so it's not it's not new. It's just reformatted for the Switch.
Well, they've also added, I guess, like a bunch of different mechanics and a bunch of different pieces to the game. So if you've played it before, there's a bunch of stuff you've never experienced. And the reason this is important, right. And the reason this is important is because I think they're trying to prompt kind of what Monster Hunter, what Capcom did with Monster Hunter, is they're trying to prompt the Western audience to get ready for a new Rune Factory, because Rune Factory 5 has already been announced and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So they're working on a new one. I think this reimagining or this redoing is to prompt the Western side for it.
Interesting.
Yeah,
like
I've never even heard of the series, but if this is on the Switch, like this is a game that I probably won't even stream. I'll just probably download on the Switch and play off stream.
And just play offline.
Yeah. Because I don't know like how well these games typically do on Twitch. Because like Stardew Valley definitely has a community on Twitch. Like there are people that play Stardew Valley, they'll race it. But Rune Factory 4, I'm not even sure. Like at least for English speaking streams, like how popular these games would be.
Yeah, you'll have to market it. You have to market that stream specifically yourself with a little bit probably extra effort to like let people know. It's like, hey, if you like these games, you're probably going to like this game. But because people won't know that inherently, it's going to take a little bit of work to market a little bit.
Be one of the ones that you just show up today and are playing and expect to have that somehow be the driving factor.
Yeah, people won't be excited to see you play it, but once they see you play it, they'll probably be totally in.
Sure. That makes sense. So the next game on our list is Curse of the Dead Gods. An action-adventure game coming out March 3rd, so coming out soon in early access. Seeking untold riches, eternal life, and divine powers, you end up at an accursed temple and a seemingly infinite labyrinth of bottomless pits, deadly traps, and monsters. Collect mystical relics and battle through hordes of enemies. Corruption builds in you with every step. Encourage it or ignore it, but each powerful curse can be a double-edged sword.
The art looks fantastic.
Really good and really interesting. Yeah, the art looks good. The pacing is a little curious. Like some of it looks like it's relatively slow, but then there are these high intensity parts where it's like you are hanging on by a thread and you have to have really precise dodging and actions and direction and use of skill. The aesthetic is huge.
Just walked right into that trap.
Twice.
What an idiot.
It's almost as if they're demonstrating the gameplay for people to see.
It's the dodge roll. Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Oh, wow.
So is it primarily a dungeon crawler? Or
it says on Steam it's a roguelite action adventure.
Oh, it's a roguelite.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it's it's like Isaac or something, but
unfortunately at this
like Dead Cells with permanent upgrades you can keep in
Oh, so like Children of Morta was kind of like
that one, but I think so, yeah.
Because that's the reason I had to like, as somebody who plays like pretty much a lot of roguelites, I had to personally decategorize that from what people were saying as a roguelite, because I'm like, no, it's an RPG because there's no real randomness to it. It's all you go in there, you find the same stuff, and then you have permanent upgrades that you take through different dungeons. But yeah, no, this is a very popular genre now, but I think they're marketing the word roguelike because people are really catching on to roguelite now. And that's pretty cool. I do like that, but it's important to note there is a major difference.
Yeah, well, so like with it being I mean, it does, so far from everything that I've looked at, it does look like it takes place entirely in the dungeons, and with that being the case, well, it's not necessarily true. It becomes a lot easier for it to be the procedurally generated stuff, with like a couple of fixed types of rooms that you would see on repeat, but the procedural generation and the randomized elements. I mean, I see the currency collection and some of that stuff that you would kind of expect to unlock certain things within one run, and then experience points that sort of build back into the meta game that you carry through from run to run. But I'm not sure how the specifics of the mechanics would.
From what I'm seeing in the trailer, it looks like there is enough randomness and there is enough like choice of path and direction, which helps. And I would say that those lean it farther towards the roguelite situation. But the things you're describing, I think those all fit into a dungeon crawler genre. So I think that would work. But unfortunately, there's been such a long line of non-well-rated dungeon crawlers that I think they're trying to move away from that, calling that category. So it's all marketing at that point.
Yeah, and with roguelikes, like there's games like this have a real chance of doing super well on Twitch for a long time. There's definitely like a community for people who play these types of games. I mean, Binding of Isaac, like people full-time stream exclusively Binding of Isaac. So yeah, there's definitely an it factor involved. Like some of these games can really catch on like wildfire, but at the same time, these games can also just completely get missed by the Twitch community and not be worth streaming much because, you know, it just like no one pays any attention to this at launch.
They're a dime a dozen these days. There's a lot.
Yeah.
After Binding of Isaac blew up, it's like this is the new indie thing to do is to build
Exactly.
But I think the value for that is, from my experience, is streaming it at launch, but not necessarily knowing whether or not it's going to have the longevity. Because games like this usually perform quite well, at least within the first few days of the launch. It's a can be the semi-hyped indie thing that I usually fixate on as a valuable.
Well, and that's become the hardest thing for me. Is like, so all these games that are coming out with the roguelite tags and stuff like that, they're all coming out to early access, and all these games have such long and elaborate, which is awesome, road, or what are they called, road plans, roadmaps. So they have all these roadmaps that it's like, oh, we want to add this and want to add this, want to add this, and I'm sitting there going, I'll play when you have all that in,
right?
Because to me, a roguelite isn't ready to be played until a roguelite is finished, because everything, this is why I love roguelites so much, is everything affects everything, and that's how it should be, and that's where the balance is. Dead Cells, as much as I played that when it was early access, it's such a different game. In my opinion, it's a 10 times better game now, and I really wish I didn't play it then, because I kind of got sick of a lot of the things that were already in it, and it was only like 20% of it. So now that I see those 20% in there, I'm just like,
you can get a Mushroom Sun in it now.
You can. Mushroom Boy is super good.
He's awesome. I got him by accident. Like
these are some of the motivating
my first time
factors for me.
playing. I actually have to go to the bathroom real quick. I know you asked before we started.
Wow.
And I'm sorry, I didn't have to go there, but I do now. I'll still be
Canceled.
listening, so I'll know what's going on. I'll be right back.
So
What
I
did
think
you-
this is one of the motivating factors for me, right? Like the thing that compels me to get back in and play roguelites again and again is how you have at least a bit of a different experience, especially roguelites, with some of that consistency across playthrough to playthrough, right? Skilling up as the player, but also, you know, acquiring stuff that can help you on your next run with the randomization and all that. What is it you're going to get? How's the run going to go? And so on. When new things get added in, I usually wait like 2 updates. When new things get added in, I'm like, I do like running this game again and again. And now there's a couple of more new things in there. That's like just enough sprinkling for me to go like, I am compelled to dive back in again. And I don't find myself to be getting necessarily, but it may be that I don't play it as much.
Well, I think it depends on the game.
Early stuff. It probably almost, yeah.
Because like, if you think about it, there's been so much added to my #1 game of all time, which is Enter the Gungeon. There's been so much added to that game, but when it was originally released, it was a complete game, and it was complete. It was a complete roguelite. Everything affected everything. Everything had these connections to something, and it was a living being, really. And then when they added stuff on top of what they already had that already fit with what they had. So it was like, we have this complete game. Let's create DLC and free updates that continue to mold it and keep it fresh. But it was so important that originally it was a full complete game, which a lot of roguelites these days that come to early access are not.
Yeah.
I think Hades does it pretty well.
Yeah.
But that game has changed a lot already too. So I'm holding off to play that until that's fully released. But yeah, it really depends on how it's done, because you have these things where if it's so, unlike a lot of early access games, you have to develop it like it's early access. You have to give people a reason to be playing it during early access, and then when you develop something else, it has to add and feel like a DLC when it's not really. It's just a more completion of the game, which is, in my opinion, it's distracting to developers. But
and in terms of streaming these games, I really like what Hunter said. If you're in this genre of games, give a game like Curse of the Dead a try. You never know how some of these games might pop off and could be like a huge game changer. There are a lot of streamers that have hit indie early access games really well, and they blew up. Like Darkest Dungeon is the prime example that comes to mind of a game that completely blew up in early access, and there were so many streamers that did so well from that because they played it, no one else knew about it, and like people flocked to watch that game.
Yeah,
it's the gold rush.
Yeah,
they get in there quick.
So our next game on the list is a platformer. It is the sequel to the critically acclaimed Ori and the Blind Forest. Is Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Yeah.
Who is excited for this game?
I think everybody.
Yeah, I still haven't played the first one.
Me
but like,
really?
It's always in the back of my head. Like, oh, anytime I see like the sequel trailer, I'm like, oh, I need to go back and play that. It's on the Switch, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna get.
There's a definitive edition.
One of those games that I know is objectively fantastic and everybody loves it, but I've negot played it, so I have no like intrinsic love for the game, and therefore also not the second one. But I think I got to get in and play so I can play the second one as well.
So it's a platformer slasher, platformer basher, whatever that's called. So it's not necessarily fully in my wheelhouse. Like it is a little bit, but it's not fully in my wheelhouse. So I played it once and I really enjoyed it. However, if I see speedrunners playing it, or if I see new casual people playing it, I will watch it almost every time because it is more, to me, way more fun to watch than it is to play because it's just not within the genre. But it's a very nice
that spectrum. New casual people playing it or speedrunners playing it. It's like the best of the best who can like blast through it, or people who are fresh into it.
Well, on games like this, like it's a whole different experience, especially like what's the other one? The other one with the white ghost dude. Hollow Knight. So it's like Hollow Knight. If you watch a speedrunner play Hollow Knight, it's a completely different game than watching somebody play for the first time. And they're like two different experiences.
Yeah, so I played this game for the first time last month, and I heard constantly about how it's such a beautiful game. It's amazing. It's heartfelt. It's just beautiful. You got to play it. And I had never heard about how hard this game is. This game is brutal. It is very unforgiving. As cute as it is just as hard. Seriously, I was very surprised. I get it. It's a platformer. I've played platformers. I get it. I like a challenge. But there are some points in the original game that made me borderline rage quit because it would have such a spike in difficulty at like the most precise moves ever that I was just like, this is
it's a very emotional game.
I don't want it to be for that reason.
They're not wrong.
Well, that's an interesting cultural effect too. It's like, how many more things can you add to platformers? I think the only answer that people or devs have come up with is to make it harder.
I mean, I think Ori does a really good job of continuing to add new skills. Like there's a lot of different skills and abilities you have in this game that keeps it super interesting. And I love it for that. I just feel like there were some points that it got like super, super hard just randomly, that it just felt like it was just like the difference between like the variety of difficulties made it kind of a turn off. But I probably will play this one. We'll see. I think Chad enjoyed it, but
one of those play may not finish.
There were some points where I just had to stop for the day because I was just like, okay, this is not becoming fun anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so the question, it's interesting. This is probably my drug-addled brain thinking. What more can be added to a platformer? I think it is narrative characters and, you know, the emotional connection that you can make to it, right? Like Grease.
Yeah, that was
one that I think makes the case really well. Ori is another one where the characters and the story and the world is something that's really interesting and compelling. I don't care for platformers by themselves. Grew up with them, obviously, as everybody played, you know, like Mario,
Crash Bandicoot,
whatever. It's like easy, but they never intrigued me by themselves. Things like the intense emotionality and these really interesting characters that you get to see grow across, of all things, a platform. I never would have expected that to be a thing. Now it's like popular as a feature of platformers, which I think is really, 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 really cool.
For sure. This game is definitely going to pop off on Twitch. Like people are super, super hyped about this game. So in terms of playing it, if you're in the platforming genre, this is going to be a great game to hit day one. If you're a smaller streamer and you don't normally play this, I would probably avoid it at least the first few days take a look at the category on whatever platform you're streaming on and keep an eye on it and see like basically how you would place in that category normally to determine whether you'd play it. But this game is gonna be super, super popular.
The added factor of potential spoilers. If you're not playing it super early, you do have to be aware that you will probably experience narrative spoilers from people who watched, from day one. So take that into consideration when it comes to game selection after it's released.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might not be a game I play, but I'll watch the heck out of it.
Yeah, probably me too.
So the next game that we have is coming out March 20th, Doom Eternal.
Yes, rip and tear. Okay, wait, I got this one. Doom
what is this game about?
It's the direct sequel to the award-winning and best-selling Doom 2016. Experience the ultimate combination of speed and power as you rip and tear your way across dimensions with the next leap in push forward personal first-person combat.
Yeah.
Is that the?
Yeah, no, it is.
I kept it consistent. Hold on.
No, that's right. Yeah.
You had this, Hunter.
But in the next leap in push forward first-person combat. I'm not sure what that means. Like it
push
is
forward means you're not going backwards.
Combat,
yeah, it's not a Metroidvania. You're always going forward.
Always progressing.
Never backward.
It's a fancy way of saying linear.
Yeah. Really? This is the term.
Because it's supposed to be action packed, so you're always going towards the next thing.
Yeah, I do like that.
But I mean, can I also hear the loco version of that we heard earlier?
No.
Come on,
because it's what it is too.
Oh, so you're a demon. I mean, you're not a demon. I'm sorry, I already messed it up. Basically, you shoot demons, and there's a lot of blood and heavy music, and you go very fast with powers, and it's a very fast-paced shooting first-person shooter.
That's what I said.
Nailed it.
Yep, it's just as accurate. It's that's also how Simcopter tried to describe Warframe to me.
So this is the sequel to Doom 2016, which I played. I don't know if you guys did, but I loved it. Yeah. I'm super excited for this one.
It's
so much
big into it.
I mean, as a metalhead, I can just sit there and listen to the in-game music.
Music is so good.
I got that on Spotify all the time.
Yeah.
Yes, me too. I listen to that.
It's like workout music. It's great.
There's no video game score I've listened to as much as Doom 2016 or Remember Me. Amazing.
I play that behind some Factory Tarkov raids too. Just run around with Doom music in the background.
I'd be too scared I wouldn't hear footsteps.
You just run towards the gunshots. It's so much fun.
Yeah. I'm actually excited for the main story. I'm really excited for the asymmetrical multiplayer they have where you can invade people as a demon. I just think if people have that turned on, obviously they want it to happen. So you don't feel like you're griefing.
Fascinating feature.
Yeah, but I like stuff like that. I think a lot of people it works in Dark Souls, Yeah. People actually like getting invaded. They like the extra challenge. So
isn't there also a game mode that's asymmetrical as well? It's like two mega demons versus 6 humans or something.
Something like that, yeah. And
that's what I'm interested in for sure.
That looks pretty cool too. Because the multiplayer of Doom 2016 was not great.
No.
As soon as someone got the rune and turned into the demon, they win the game, won the match. You're done.
Wait, is that what we're seeing right now on screen?
That's exactly what we. Okay. Empowered demon.
That looks cool, man. So that's it's another way to interact with we can talk about interactivity with chat. And it's that's a good way to do it. If people if you have trusted people on your friends list that want to join and be part of the stream for a little bit,
go for it, bro.
Yeah, exactly. it adds an element to just running through a story,
Yeah, this is gonna be super popular day one on launch.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for it, and so this game comes out the same day as Animal Crossing. So this is. I mean, I don't know. I guess
two parties separated.
Yeah.
Wait, is that how the meme started?
Yeah, because they come out the same day.
I didn't know that's how the meme started. The most wholesome meme on the internet that I absolutely love and adore. Do you guys know what we're talking about?
Yeah, the Doom. It's they keep making fan art.
It's Isabelle in Doom Man armor, and it's just
I did see that
fan art with that. I didn't realize that's why they did that, but
There's
that's
got to be one of Doom Guy holding a Switch playing
yeah.
Crossing.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
So I feel like for a lot of people, this is not going to be a decision that you have to weigh whether you play Doom or Animal Crossing on the first day. For me, it is because I do full variety.
Yeah.
I am very excited for Animal Crossing because this is a game I played as a kid on the GameCube, and it looks so good. This is like
gameplay looks virtually the same.
Hunter, get out of here.
The main mechanic is, yeah, but it's like, again, that's what, going back to the Stardew Valley thing. The main mechanic is always going to be the same.
As Doom was, I was trying
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Did you switch games? I couldn't.
Oh.
Making the choice between which one you're going to stream.
But yeah, so this one,
do an early stream Animal Crossing, then take a break, and then a late night stream Doom.
just stream 24 hours a day.
Why do you think I switched to 2 streams a day? I can do 2 different games.
There you go.
Great.
That is true. That is a good point. So yeah, this comes out March 20th as well. It's exclusively on the Nintendo Switch. So if you don't have a Switch, you're gonna be out of luck on this one. And this is for the Sims community, the Animal Crossing community, the Stardew community, the life sim games community.
I'm wondering how it'll perform on Twitch, because when's the last one was for 3DS, so unless you had sent that thing in to get capture carded,
this game I think is going to be absolutely massive on Twitch, at least. Right? I think initially and for a while, because
I think for that fact alone it will be.
Yeah.
Because because everybody played it, right? So everybody knows what it is.
People.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if there's going to be much of a like people who've never streamed this style of game before, like breaking into it by streaming it on day one or something.
Yeah.
This is going to be for the people that are already in this community.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too. Yeah, it's definitely going to be for the what the list of that Loco just put out.
Of Twitch.
Yeah.
We're literally like built around this.
Yeah.
But you're not going to see too many people that it's like, oh, you're finally playing Animal Crossing. It's like, well, that doesn't exist yet. So yeah, definitely having you're going to have that life sim community there. Probably a lot of Sims streamers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I think this is going to be a game that a lot of streamers try out initially, and like a lot of popular streamers, big streamers, and then they're going to leave very, very quickly. And it's just going to be this community that sticks around, but it's going to be a very solid community.
And also what Adorkable said, this is going to be a game that people watch while they play it themselves, which I think is something to keep in consideration too, that you may, if that's the case, you may end up with less chat interaction, which for me is a huge driver. I'm really only satisfied with the stream when I have a lot of people conversing. Or
like, I have my Nintendo friend code like public, so like I would just invite people over to my town.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you want to come chop some wood for me?
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
There's a community aspect of it because it is multiplayer. Yeah, you can make a town or an island for your community.
Yeah. If Stardew Valley multiplayer wasn't locked to like the people you started with, I would have done that a lot more. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I hear you on that.
But yeah, no, I mean the same, like what you just said. There's like playing Stardew Valley for as long as I did. There's a lot of people that were like, oh, I'm in year 2. This is what I'm doing, and it's interesting you did it that way. Or it's interesting you started with working on these things, because there's no. When you look at Stardew Valley, there's no wrong way to play it, and I think that's going to go with Animal Crossing too. There's no wrong way to play it, so that means there's so many ways. There's no meta, meaning no matter who you're watching, they're going to be doing different things.
To Tom Nook, you know.
Tom Nook's gonna break your kneecaps.
There are more of us than there are of him. Okay, so
oh my God.
Just saying, he started a revolt.
I think he's actually Thanos.
Yeah.
Snaps and all your save files get deleted. Or half.
Where's my money?
Yeah, and another interesting point is this is not a game that has spoilers really, so you're not going to have people that stay away day one because they kind of know what they're going to get.
Story. It's a canvas. You're painting a canvas.
To get a little hardcore, there are sort of spoilers because there are events that happen that people might not want to see.
That's fair.
But is it really going to be something that drives people away?
In the penis? Because it's the worst.
Yeah, that one.
Some people, not a lot, but there are going to be.
I'll find a way to break the game.
I will be there for it. I want to see that. If you find a way to just, make sure that
Or I'll do the like the Shawshank Redemption thing where I do some money, like tax stuff, and all of a sudden the warden owes the IRS $100,000.
Just playing that long game, like circumventing the whole thing.
Just go find some pictures of Tom Nook having a second family and hold that over him.
Yeah, so Animal Crossing, Doom both come out March 20th. Some decisions to be made there. Both super popular games. Twitch is definitely gonna be popping that weekend. So it's like an exciting month for games. We also have, starting in April, we have a game called Minecraft Dungeons, which I actually think we saw at E3 for the first time.
Yeah.
That even if you don't play Minecraft, actually looks pretty fun.
I don't play Minecraft, and I'm intrigued by this game.
So when I saw the first couple seconds of the trailer, I was like, oh god, no, please no, because I played a lot of Minecraft on like here and there on Twitch, like, so that I have this love that I found later on, but then that's just like the aesthetic, and you're like, oh, that's just what it looks like. It actually looks like a pretty fun ARPG that's pretty simple and entertaining to get into.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I mean, I've played Minecraft one time, and the thing about Minecraft is I really don't like the creative element of it, believe it or not, because I suck
I don't
at
like
that.
the core aspect of this video.
I don't.
Right.
So that's why I don't
The
play it.
entire draw of the game is just not for me.
That's why you play multiplayer. You have an artistic person, and then you go spelunking and grab all the dangerous stuff while they do all the art stuff.
That's how I like to work. Like I'll make like a little cave mansion that's like it's as aesthetically pleasing as I can function, and then like I'll just go around doing the survival stuff because that's fun for me.
But this one definitely has more of a it's more goal oriented non-building game.
Mechanically, it's not Minecraft, but it looks enough like Minecraft to be able to still have that love value to it,
Yeah.
I don't like the crafting part of Minecraft. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. I play with.
Not a big fan of mining. Don't like the crafting.
That's why I play with Cletus.
Like Minecraft.
I play with Cletus Buford, and he just does all the building while I get all the stuff he needs.
There you go.
So this is a separate game that is it's an ARPG, and it is up to 4 players battling together through action-packed, treasure-stuffed, wildly varied levels, all in an epic quest to save the villagers and take down the evil Illager.
Illager, yeah.
Don't know if I said that right.
Oh my god, I think it's a villager. Yeah, this is a game I would play with my little brother. Although I think he's getting old now, and that makes me sad. I just got sad.
Not getting older, but getting old specifically.
Getting old.
Well, because like he's 16 now, and like maybe 2 years ago he would play this game with me.
Fortnite time for him. Sorry.
Yeah.
We lost him.
Yeah, he's gone.
Oh my goodness.
Damn.
I'm really curious how this game is gonna go, because it has the aesthetic and the name that appeals to a younger audience, but mechanically I feel like this would be more interesting for someone that has an attention span, like older people.
An attention span.
But like kids can't, like, kids don't want to, like, they want to just go and goof off, you know what I mean?
I mean, I guess you could kind of do that here, but yeah, not as much.
Like there's like quests and there's skills and stuff. It's just a little bit more complex than just like a sandbox.
Loco needs a lawn to tell people to get off.
Come on.
Did you grow up with it? You weren't like where you weren't playing quests and didn't have to pay attention to like.
I mean, Minecraft is like the elementary middle school audience, and I feel like then it's like middle school and high school and beyond is like
directly
more ARPG goals, RPGs.
I mean, I played Diablo when I was like 8 or 9. Only the demo because my parents wouldn't let me play.
Yeah, I played games.
They've got demons in this game? I don't think so.
Yeah.
If it's got they learned about the ESRP like real quick. So if it had an M rating, my parents were like, no.
My mom
How
was
unfortunate.
Like, I got to play Magic and Diablo in their Christian household. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that this game, I mean, I think you're right, but I don't think it excludes at all that younger crowd.
When you add stats to a game, you definitely start to lose the teen audience for sure. I would see that.
I'm glad this is a long-winded way for you guys to agree with me after you berated me for my analysis.
I gotta shoot you down first.
I never disagreed.
Didn't patch it up.
Didn't agree either.
All right, we got Resident Evil 3 Remake coming out April 3rd, 2020.
Oh, another anxiety attack in a video game.
Probably, yeah.
Cool.
I remember playing. I rented that from Blockbuster back when it came out, and I had played Resident Evil 2. I'd never beat it though, because it was really hard, and I was really bad about the whole, conserve your ammo thing. Anytime something would scare me or pop around a corner, I would just go blasting.
Start blasting. Anyway, I just started shooting.
But 3, I believe I beat it, but I do remember getting seriously stressed out by the nemesis just popping in and like, oh, he's not going away. Why isn't he going away? I hide, in a safe room, come back out. He's just waiting for me out there. So in this new engine, it's gonna be even more terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be excited to play Jill. Jill was a cool character. And if I remember correctly, 3 kind of took place in this almost the same exact place as 2, right?
It takes place 24 hours before Resident Evil 2 starts, and then like 36 hours after, and like part of it's during.
What was the remake that they came out with like last year or the year before?
That was 2.
2.
That was 2. Okay.
Yeah.
That one I played a little
really
bit of.
Loved it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I don't like scary games. I didn't hate all of it. I didn't finish it, but it was
It's
some
less
parts
about
so cool.
the scariness and more about memorizing the map layout.
Yeah.
Because like it's all backtracking and item collecting and sorting your inventory, and so it's a lot for someone like me. I have ADHD, so I'm like, give me 2 of those things and I can do this. Don't put them all together. And I have to run away from this giant monster with a rocket launcher. Okay.
See, I thought that's what made it interesting for me to stream.
It's a great stream game. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it's got the horror element, and also like new players, like people love to backseat them, or like not in a bad way, but they like give them pointers.
Front seat.
People who are good at the game, people want to watch them be good at the game. Like it's got all of those elements. So like any type of person can stream it, and people will want to show up for whatever reason.
Oh yeah, they're trying Nemesis now. Oof.
Yeah. You remember Nemesis in the movies?
Yeah. You mean in the second movie?
Yeah.
After they put the liquor in the first movie? I actually, fun fact, like a few months ago, I did a stream where I read George Romero's original Resident Evil spec script. And despite the dialogue being just as cheesy as it was in the first video game, it was a really good script. It all took place in the mansion. It had all the primary characters. It had the giant snake. It had the hunters. It had the plant that they had to kill that would eat people and stuff. It had everything. It was action packed. And then don't get me started on the movies. Yeah, the actual movies that came out. Do not like them at all.
It's definitely strange.
Yeah, I'm not going to be playing this one. This is a type of game that I will make into an incentive that chat could potentially unlock a little bit of time for, but I don't volunteer myself to play scary games because I don't enjoy being scared. I don't like it. I'm a big baby.
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. I don't go towards this genre. Sometimes it's because I don't enjoy it, but
yeah, I do, despite also not being good with jump scares and stuff, because I've kind of conditioned myself to understand how they work. Like Outlast was a great game to understand how those type of games work.
Yeah.
And how you can get around the scares, like except for the scripted stuff. But yeah, once you understand like enemy pathing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's why Alien messed with me, because the alien isn't predictable.
And the tension building elements can be a lot more unpredictable in a game like Alien 2, because there are so many times when they do, unlike a horror film, there's so many times when they do tension building sequences that don't actually involve the alien or any other scary thing. You just have your heart palpitations and the tension and the cold sweats, and then nothing happens. It's so
because at any moment it can. Whereas in a game like Outlast, when you're safe. You always know when you're in a safe area. You're walking around looking for a key, and then now I'm being hunted, and this is the arena where I have to hide and get away from this person.
When chat wants me to play a scary game, I tell them I'm going to play Subnautica, because that's the game that makes me poop myself. I will poop myself.
I love that game.
That'll do
It's
it.
so
At the
good.
same time,
But the ocean sucks.
Yeah, I can't. It is actually scary for me. Like the
Only
open
actual
water.
phobia.
Yeah.
Which is I think why I love playing the game, because it's my phobia will get activated, but I also fundamentally understand that I'm not under threat.
yeah.
I don't. That's why I hate scary games.
I grew up in California and Hawaii, which are very primarily ocean places.
Yeah.
So I know a lot about the ocean. The problem is I still don't know a lot about the ocean, and that
None of
scares
us
the
do.
heck out
Yeah.
of me.
I spend a lot of time going deep sea fishing, and that's still my fundamental terror and fear. But speaking of not fundamental terrors and fears, Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I never played the original game, but the sequel, this rework is it's got the different, it's structured.
Oh, different episodes.
It's episodic.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like or it looks like, I don't even know, like they're splitting it up by disc because it used to be in discs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I heard that.
I made it to disc 3. I'm pretty sure it was disc 3, and then my friend wanted her game back because
because
I
they're
was in middle school and we traded games and she wanted it back.
So I'm fully not for this game, but I do understand what they're doing, and because each disc actually has like an ending, kind of like it's like a real act break.
Structured.
It's a good way to do it. But
interesting.
Yeah. It'll feel like you're not left on a huge cliffhanger, but
also
at the
if it
same
means that
time,
the devs don't have to crunch.
Yeah, well,
the
hopefully.
entire game, like that's always a good thing.
Yeah, for sure.
The way they're putting it out is each game is going to feel like a full game. So who knows? They could still
It is like a 50-hour game.
Every Final Fantasy is super long.
Yeah, so it's like you'll have plenty of time to play through each episode before the next one drops. Not like Life is Strange, where it's like 2.5 hours are gone and like, oh well, gotta wait 2 months, I guess.
I had to wait until those were done to dive, because I don't remember what
same
else does.
After Walking Dead season 2, I stopped playing those games as they released.
Yeah.
And
no, I would agree.
Those games entirely because they went out of business.
Oh, that's true.
Well, they're back now. Someone bought.
They're back. They got purchased back.
Stay at the studio.
In fact, they just announced The Wolf Among Us.
Yep. Yes. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Yes. I'm very hyped for that. I am so hyped. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII, never played the original. I have not played any Final Fantasies, except the one that came out like a couple years ago, like 14 or whatever.
15?
15?
The single player or multiplayer?
The bros on a
single player. Yeah, I only
15.
played a little bit of that. I probably do the same thing with this one, where I'll play a little bit because it looks so cool, and the trailer for it looks so much fun, and I just want to give it a shot to see what it's like, and show the viewers.
There's a lot, unless they're adding a lot more to it. If it's just graphically and mechanically they're changing things up. 15 had so much. It was open world, all these characters and items and stuff. 7's a lot more linear and grounded, and like it's a lot easier to follow, and you don't get overwhelmed with all the things that you can do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What's interesting about 7 too, though, right, is there's a whole system of stories that have come out of it and other games, right? Like,
what do you mean?
Like Revenant Wings, and like there are
that's just the Final Fantasy films.
Yeah, there's that one that was just a third-person action game where you played Sephiroth or something.
Yeah, those are like, that's a Final Fantasy thing, because they take so long to release each game. They take like years and years to release each game, that they try to throw other things in there to keep Final Fantasy sort of relevant.
Chocobo Racing, Chocobo Racing was great.
Yeah, they've done a lot of those. Personally, and this pisses people off, I don't think Final Fantasy VII is anywhere near the top of the best Final Fantasy games, but I understand that people that didn't really play a whole lot of them, this one feels good, and it's like the first one people played, so I get it. And if you've never played Final Fantasy or you've never played 7, this remake will probably be really good for you. But yeah, personally,
worth noting for anyone who doesn't know, you do not have to play 1 through 6 to understand the story. They're all
not at all.
That's why it's called Final Fantasy, because each one is supposed to be the Final Fantasy of its story, of its world.
Yeah, see, I never knew that growing up. So like when I caught wind of Final Fantasy, I was like, well, I'm not. There's how many? 11 of them? I'm just
that's
forget
what
it.
I thought. But then I jumped into this game when I was like 13, and I was like, oh, this is like a fresh story. I understand what's going on. Oh, cool.
And then you got to remember that 11 and 14 are MMOs.
Yeah.
Right.
And then 10 and then 12 and then 13 are actually direct sequels to each other, I believe.
Yeah. I almost sort of, yeah.
Or not the
10 and 10-2 are sequels, definitely.
Yeah,
all the ones with 2 or 3 after are sequels, yes.
But with a different.
It's really confusing.
Yeah, it's such an interesting way.
Final Fantasy is strange. Yeah, I wrote the guide on 10-2, and that was
such a good game.
It made me fall in love with. That's probably my favorite, honestly, out of like as far as mechanics go. And people hate that game.
I know.
But they did something so interesting with JRPGs, which is introduce kind of jobs they have in other Final Fantasies, but they introduce dress spheres, which allow characters to change their job but have their own stats in that job. So instead of changing the character out, you can always have the same 3 characters that all develop a relationship with you and who they're with, but they can switch out what they do, what their role is, and that's I think pretty
cool.
I want to talk about 10-2 so much.
Yeah.
So our next game on the list is apparently Diction's game of the year. Diction,
yes.
Can you talk to us about Maneater?
Indeed, I can, Loco. Maneater is an upcoming game from Tripwire, and it's a shark PG. It is an open world action RPG where you start off as a baby tiger shark and your mother got killed by a shark hunter person, and you have to grow and eat and fight and survive and terrorize the populace. And Chris Parnell plays a National Geographic style narrator who gives out shark facts that are really funny and witty. And I'm a Cyberpunk. Yeah, of course I'm looking forward to that. But honestly, this game is like, I'm gonna have so much fun streaming this.
Yeah,
it looks so great. And they just had a preview event last week, and I read a bunch of the articles. Every single one was like, I couldn't wait to keep playing it. It was so much fun. And apparently the combat is a little more Dark Soulsy. Like it's a lot of timing and stuff, which is weird because you're a shark, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the I've seen some like late game stuff where like you can outfit your shark with metal grills in their teeth and they can run through metal better. Like razor.
There's a skill system. There's skilling and progression.
Shark PG.
The Shark PG, yeah, exactly.
I'm definitely more interested in it with you mentioning the Shark Souls element.
Yeah, Shark Souls.
Yeah, because it's like a game like this, you can very much half-ass it and make it pretty boring and just like a gimmick.
Sure.
But it really looks like they put a lot of effort into making this a legit game.
Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's like the antithesis to Subnautica. Like you're the apex predator.
I'm not afraid of being in the water now because I'm the shark.
Exactly. Except apparently there are different regions, and each region has its apex predator that you have to eventually grow to fight. So there's like a giant saltwater crocodile, a sperm whale, so there's like boss fights basically that you have to do to advance the story.
Sounds awesome.
I'm so jazzed for this. It looks so great.
Yeah, so when this first got announced a few years ago at E3, it was a very short trailer that they showed, and I was like, oh, this looks cool. Like it looks like a fun little game. And then they showed it again, I think last year at E3, and they showed so much more that they've added to it that it actually, like what you guys said, it looks super in depth. It looks legit. Like it looks like a game that's gonna stand on its own and not just be like a short little fun gimmick.
Yeah, apparently they're saying it could be between 15 to 20 hours to be. It's like an actual full game.
That's
full story.
Really cool. Yeah, I mean, I hate sharks, and I'm glad that we're actually the shark in this because I would be too afraid if it was the other way around. I don't want to be the person.
Google videos of sharks getting their noses rubbed, and you will like sharks.
No, I don't think
they're actually very sweet animals that don't want to eat you, and you can rub their noses, and it's like petting a dog.
Yeah, they're very.
Have you done that?
Their noses are very sensitive.
No, I've done it with the bat rays at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, though. They might as well be sharks. They just have smaller mouths.
When you go up to a great white and you pet it on the nose, you show me that video.
I would do it.
There are videos of that.
Yeah.
I want you specifically to go and prove me wrong. Be the shark whisperer.
Who's going to sponsor this trip? Who's going to sponsor
Get Maneater to sponsor this trip. It'd be a great activation.
That would be a really cool. Yeah, we live stream it from the middle of the ocean.
That'd be great.
People are on deck on a yacht playing the game while I'm in a shark cage.
Exactly.
The insurance has got to be so high for that.
I know, right? But yeah, I've been waiting for a game like this for a while because I remember years and years ago, I did like a throwback stream where I played the PS2 Jaws Unleashed game, which was kind of like this, except the controls were terrible and it was all like arena based. It wasn't like an open world type thing, but it was still very fun to just terrorize beachgoers and swim around and stuff. And I believe the dev team worked on Depth, which was like the asymmetrical, like 2 sharks versus 4 divers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And the shark controls were really tight. It actually, like, it seems like it could be wonky, but I remember playing that game a lot, and the shark controlled really well, having like full 3D movement and everything.
It finally looks like a game where you were combining we're taking the game seriously by meaning we want to make a good game, but we're not taking it seriously, meaning we want to make it silly and fun.
Oh yeah.
It's the perfect culmination.
Yeah.
Game of the year.
Game of the year.
CD
Game of the year.
Tripwire's turn.
So we got one more game on our list that is coming out May 29th. And this is probably going to be a lot of people's game of the year. It is The Last of Us 2.
Yep.
Does it have sharks? No, I remember it took me several playthroughs to complete the first game, because I got it on PlayStation 3 and then I played part of it and then it came out on PS4 and I was like, oh cool, it looks better and everything. So I got on PS4, started another playthrough, and then I forget. I got another PlayStation 4 and I didn't realize you could transfer your save files.
Oh no!
So I was like, I want to play this on my big screen on my couch while I'm like comfortable in the dark, you know. So I did 3. I did that the clicker scene, the first one in the mall.
Oh yeah,
like 3 times. That made me so nervous. But eventually, I finally beat it, and without anyone spoiling the ending. Took me like 3 years after the game came out. Not a single spoiler.
This game developed a pretty good community, because I played it for the first time well after the PS4 was out.
Yeah.
So it was years after the game came out, and I finally played it. And we played through the whole thing. Everybody was super supportive of, oh yeah, I'm glad you're playing this and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is one of those games that people want to watch you play for the first time. So if you haven't played The Last of Us, I would wait until May, a little bit before Last of Us 2 comes out, and there's going to be tons of people that are going to be playing and watching Last of Us.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to replay it to get like ready for Last of Us 2.
There's going to be a ton of people streaming it too.
For sure.
Yeah.
One of my absolute.
I'll just want to see you react to that opening sequence.
Oh God. Yeah.
I think they actually, I watched a video recently of Nolan North and playing the game and Troy Baker like watching, and he played through that sequence. And it was him and the girl that played his daughter.
Yeah.
Like the actress. And they were telling, and Nolan's there and he's got tears in his eyes. He's like, you guys really went through something. You're like, yeah, no, that was a tough day of shooting. And it was like really wholesome, but also like made me cry again. I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah. The writing takes this game home for sure.
Oh, for sure. The mocap was pretty next level. Like I liked watching those videos where they show the actual like footage of them behind the scenes doing certain sequences with the actors, and it was like 1-to-1 ratio with their emotions and the movements and everything. But they're in mocap suits. It looks kind of goofy.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Tights with balls on them.
Yeah.
It's great.
The relationship building that they did in Last of Us 1, and even in the preview that you see here, like you're gonna cry and your heart's gonna break, and it's like I think I'm almost dreading Last of Us 2 as much as I'm looking forward to Last of Us 2.
It's gonna be stressful for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah,
I was a big fan of the multiplayer too.
I never touched it, but I heard people liked it.
Yeah, some people.
I heard good things about it.
So good. It was not tacked on like it is with an Uncharted series at all. It was so good. I had a lot of fun playing that with friends. And then they said it's not in this, but they teased that they're working on a multiplayer game related to Last of Us. So I think they're going to do a standalone multiplayer with more fleshed out features, which I'm pretty excited for. If that's actually real.
Yeah, I heard that it's not going to be in like the base game.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's I don't know if I played the multiplayer game, like the multiplayer version, because I feel like I got so exhausted after finishing Last of Us. I was like, I don't want to play this anymore. Leave it alone. But yeah, this is definitely, I think leading up to the first half of the year, I think this is like the most anticipated game, because later there was a lot of really hyped games that got delayed. We had Avengers delayed, Watch Dogs delayed, Cyberpunk delayed. I think actually Watch Dogs delayed indefinitely.
Doom was pushed as well.
Well, Animal Crossing's got delayed like 2 or 3 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was some fantasy pantheon, but cartoon animation style.
Yeah, the one that looked like Breath of the Wild. People keep bringing that up. I keep forgetting what it's called.
I keep forgetting.
Is that the one from Rare, their new game?
Is it Rare? It might be Rare. Yeah, it might be Rare.
Oh, Gods and Monsters. That's Ubisoft, isn't it?
Oh no, that's Ubisoft, right?
That's Ubisoft.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gods and Monsters. Yeah, that's
they push back like all their games.
Yeah.
There's a whole
right now, all they got is Rainbow Six Siege right now.
Yeah.
It's doing very well, but nothing big on the horizon for them.
Oh, Dying Light 2 got delayed. Yeah, I think Dying Light 2 got delayed because Cyberpunk got delayed, actually. Because a lot of their devs are working on either the multiplayer or something on Cyberpunk.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'm actually really
to come
looking
out
forward to
first
that.
quarter. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, Dying Light 2 looks real good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so gonna be into that. Oh. Yep.
I just played the first one like late last year.
Really?
And
It's really good. It
So
still holds
good.
up too.
Yeah, it was super good.
The following DLC is also really good. It changes the dynamic entirely, and it's very, very fun.
Yeah. People, so when I was playing it, people were asking if this was Dying Light 1 or 2. I was like, wait, what do you mean? Because a lot of people consider the following a second game altogether.
It's
So
a full like 14-hour. Like I played co-op, so it went a little bit faster for me, but it still took a while to beat. Yeah.
Yeah. So people, until Dying Light 2 was announced, people were considering that the second game, which is interesting. It's very good. I mean, it takes like the Mirror's Edge type running around and wall running and stuff like that to a different level, because that's more of a just mechanic rather than the whole mechanic.
Right.
So they added, it's like taking Mirror's Edge and adding a bunch of things to it, which was really cool because they did it really well still.
Well, all right. Well, that's all the games I have for now. That brings us through the end of May. I mean, we obviously skipped on a lot of games. There are a lot more games coming out. We try to hit on like the biggest ones that we have listed for the first half of the year, and things can change. Like you never know when a game will get pushed. Like I feel like it's becoming much more common for games to get delayed, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
That and a surprising number of games that nobody knew were even being worked on suddenly showing up and being released like in the moment.
Yeah.
Well, we're finally getting like a cultural acceptance of things being delayed. I think, at least maybe that's just my.
That might be that might be our like little echo chamber.
The Sonic movie, yeah. The Sonic movie got great reviews.
It did. And it's the highest grossing video game movie of all time. Like they're definitely making a sequel.
Oh wow.
Now I'm wondering, I asked my chat the other night, like, what are studios looking at to adapt next for video games? You know, like what property? They've been working on a Minecraft movie for like 17 years, it feels like.
Wow. There's a Minecraft movie?
It was originally going to be directed by Rob McElhenney from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Wow.
Oh.
And he left because of creative differences.
Well, and he has his own show now, right?
Yeah, he's got the one about video game devs. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, with Ashley Birch.
Oh, Mythic Quest?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that it? Yeah.
I think so. But it's like an Apple TV thing. That's why I have no interest in that at all.
Yep.
I just resubscribed to Disney Plus just to watch Clone Wars. So like,
Yes.
I'm not getting another subscription.
Yeah.
Stop. By the way, the first episode is really good.
Just put everything on Netflix or Hulu and just take a slice of the pie, you know?
Dude, yeah. We're reverting back to old TV ways, and I'm like,
right.
It made a full
approach. Surprising.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well, we're going to do some shout outs. Thank you guys so much for joining us on the show. I may have made a typo on this shout out card, so it's a little too late to change. Danotage, I'm sorry, I spelled your Twitter wrong.
Am I Danotage?
No, you got two ends.
Yeah.
But if you can tell us where we can find you and what you're up to, we'll link it in chat for you guys.
Well, thankfully for me, it's all the same. So if you get one right, just copy and paste that somewhere. It's all Danotage everywhere. Danotage. Yeah, like I mean, we at the beginning of the show, I do 2 streams a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. 8 or 9 a.m. Pacific or 6 p.m. Pacific. So that and truly like that became this episode kind of highlighted why I did that, because I get to play 2 games and not have to distract, in 2 different things in the same stream.
Yeah.
That is an interesting thing that I definitely want to talk about at some point, is like streaming once a day or it's splitting your streams, because I don't know what the right answer is. Like I want your perspective.
Yeah. Because I've found we could talk about that more, but I found almost the same but different success rates with it. So but yeah. So I'm there. You can check me out there. I'm uploading a lot more to YouTube now. So just to keep that, basically a lot of the streams archived and a little bit more digestible. So if you miss a stream, you can check it out there.
Awesome.
And we're starting a Tarkov series with. I got the first episodes with Dan Giesling, and then we're playing with Ko and Elo. And so if you want to check those out, if you missed those on stream, go check them out. We'll have fun with it.
Awesome. And you do a show here on Streamers Square, don't you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think that's tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow at around this time. It'll be live around this time at 3 p.m. or 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. You can catch Dan's Stream of Thought, where we... tomorrow, hopefully, I'll have a pretty interesting episode coming up. And we'll be talking about all sorts of things around the industry, but focused around professionalism. So whether you're a streamer, a watcher, a gamer, a game dev, a publisher, anybody that's in the industry, hopefully we can talk about ways that we can stay professional and hopefully make the world a better place. At least this gaming world, because, well, let's be honest, we influence the entire world a lot of the time. So, yeah.
That's very true. Diction, what about you? What are you up to?
I'm Diction. I try to stream 6 days a week, 5 p.m. PST. Tonight, actually, very special stream. I subscribe to this box that comes every month called Hunt a Killer, and it's a customized fake murder mystery. And
I've heard of that.
That seems so
filled
cool.
with like documents and like letters and emails and clues, and tonight we're going to be solving part of this mystery on my stream.
That is awesome. What?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of reading, but it should still be pretty fun.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
That is fascinating.
Yeah, what is it? It's like a monthly box where they send you a new mystery every month or something.
So it's part of a series. So it's 6 months. Each box is an episode of this murder mystery. And so tonight our goal is to identify the murder weapon. The next week it's going to be like eliminate this suspect or that suspect, and then so on and so forth until we get to the end where you identify the killer.
That's cool.
That is awesome.
I'm looking forward to it. Sounds fun.
Wow.
and then the other times I play video games.
What's it called?
It's called Hunt a Killer, and it's like the same price as like a like Loot Crate. It's like $25 a box, but it's like, I think it's a lot more special because they actually have people writing these stories and creating narratives and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like getting a game.
Cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's meant to be done like you get a group of friends together and some beers, and you go through the case files together and you try to solve it.
That's so cool.
That sounds cool.
It's like take home a escape room.
Yeah, they do make those like escape rooms in a box.
Be like uncomfortable and locked away somewhere.
For one time I did it, it was air conditioned, so I felt pretty comfortable.
Nice. All right.
Hunter, what about you? What are you up to? What are you doing?
Recovering, but I will be flying out to PAX East this week. You can find me typically when I'm not in Boston at twitch.tv/thehunterwild, streaming a whole slew of games. Today was the launch of a RimWorld DLC.
Yes. Yeah.
And I realized that I have crested now over 1,000 hours in RimWorld. Obviously had to do that, but the first 45 minutes of the stream was figuring out which mods were breaking my playthrough.
Oh no.
Because there's a whole bunch of new stuff happening. But you can find me there 4 days a week from 11 to 4-ish Pacific time. And right here on Streamer Square, doing the stream scene every week as well. Right next to my brilliant co-host and co-owner, Loco. Loco, what about you?
Yeah, so we will actually not be here next week because of PAX East. So no show next Monday. We'll be back after that. You can find me at twitch.tv/LOWCO. I am currently playing 50 billion games. I did Wilson last week. I did Stone Shard today, which I love, by the way.
Stone Shard is so
really
good.
cool. We've got 2 Point Hospital coming out on console this week, so I'll be checking that out. And I'm definitely still looking to do a day of Disco Elysium for the first time. Still trying to find a day to do that. I really want to check it out. It looks cool, and I just want to play it once on stream just to give Chad a taste and check it out for myself. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this content, you can find us at Streamer Square on YouTube. We put all our videos up on YouTube, and check out our Twitter if you guys want to get some tips to know when our shows go live. The Twitter is a great place to follow. So follow us on Twitter. And yeah, that's pretty much all we've got for this week.